Alright, what is poppin', people? We are here. I got some cap content as I continue my boycott of the NU tier until I can, I don't know, put up with ladder. Look, man, I don't have the patience to ladder against Hale for 30 games out of 60 games. Anyhow, to the matter at hand, I've got two tour series to go through today. I've got my tour series against Death to the West, good friend D2 the W, and then I got another one up against the Number Man. And I think both of these series do a pretty good job juxtaposing the highs and lows of my ability as a player. Oh my lord. So I felt really good about the series that I just played, which is the one against the Number Man. I felt really awful about the one against D2 the W. I didn't think I played this series very well. And in general, I think that it was just not a very good one. Which is kind of why I never uploaded anything about it originally. Because I was just kind of like, yeah, these games happened. Yep. Just kind of wanted to ignore them. But if we're to get actually into it here, I got this team. It's sub DD Kyurem, 3 attack Zapdos and Roost. Nice, Rapid Spin Equilibra. I got a Choice Scarf, Trick, Stealth Rock, Crucible, which is, I think, a pretty fun set. And we got a CB Rillaboom and then a Calm Mind, I think it is, Tapu Fini. And my opponent's got some variant of Hyper Offense. And I think I remember this being an Unaware Clefable Hyper Offense, because this game was 1000% in the middle of me spamming Garchomp. And one of the things that I went into this series knowing was that I was gonna get hard prepped for in terms of, Garchomp. Specifically Sword Stance Chomper. I was just claiming free wins with this. I'm just like, if no one's gonna bring anything to stop me from using it, then I might as well bring it every game. Because, look, it's a fantastic mon, and so I'm gonna abuse it until someone makes it so I can't. And I knew that would be this series, so we shape it up. Or we change it up. Anyhow, I look at my opponent's team. I know my Kyurem is super problematic right from the get-go. My opponent doesn't know that I'm, Icicle Spear DD, but I do. So I'm gonna lead with it, because, Ice Resist 2. Unfortunately, it's with Garchomp, which obviously I gotta switch from. So I'm gonna go Fini, because I'm expecting, a Scale Shot. No one's gonna predict too much turn 1. And I know he's got a switch, so I get to start off a Taunt. It denies momentum to anything, and since he's HO, I know everything on his team is probably going to try to set up, or just, again, keep up offensive pressure. So it's a good general move. Anyhow, he goes Rilla. I'm going to go with my Zapdos here. I do get the static really early on. You're going to see this ends up being super duper useful. And then my opponent goes out to a Landorus, and right here, he's not booming, so I'm going to Roost. And then right here, he's not booming, and so I'm gonna Hurricane, and we're gonna kill the Landers. That's what you get for naming your bot TSM Lost, you goblin. How dare you? Anyhow, he goes Garchomp here, and this is the part of the game where I got really worried about my ability to win, because looking at my team, a +2 Life Form Garchomp, I don't have a whole lot to deal with that. I can Revenge Kill it with the Rillaboom Boom, but I don't remember. I didn't calc to see if I could KO it. I don't think from this range. So I'm gonna go with Crucible because I know I've got Doom Desire popping this turn, so I can go with that, U-turn, and then try to force a 50-50 between Zapdos and Fini, I guess. But he just ends up sacking Clef, which is good. Now he goes Rillaboom here. I have a Crucible that I can just sack because at this point, if I ever lock into Stone Edge, I'm letting something on his team win. So it's not very helpful. And here you're going to see why this para was so helpful. So, at this point, my thought process is, I lose, potentially. But I could also DD versus this. I didn't think he would switch, mostly because, what's he switching into? His logic, because we talked about the series a little bit after the games, and he said in this game, his logic was that he needed every Pokemon on his team to win, and I'm guessing he viewed Rillaboom as the most expendable. And so he's going to stay in here. And he's gonna fail to attack me. Okay, just one pair, not too worried. So I'm a DD again. Because I see that he wants to stay in. And now I'm a DD a third time. And I have won the game. I mean, you know, now I think my logic that I told him for why I kind of disagreed with the sequence he took was I felt that, if anything, he should have just gone Lucha more immediately, but I suppose every turn was still a 50-50 in terms of what I would go for between, you know, just attacking and setting up. And I think you could argue that it was in my favor to attack sooner rather than later. What I was mostly thinking was I didn't want Lucha coming in, because if he's SD Stone Edge, then, you know, that's an unfun turn that I have to decipher in my head. I do think Finny probably took a +2 acro, but actually, does it? I don't know. I had outs still. Again, forcing a 50-50 between Stone Edging and, or not Stone Edging and SDing, between CCing and SDing on, you know, whether I stay in with Kyurem and just Icicle Spear to KO the Lucha. I would have been at +1, but I'm sure I still KO it. Or whether or not I go Zapdos. And then I think Commodore, you know, you try to preserve that because it could potentially just win. And in the Garchomp, it can also, like, still kind of win, but I don't know. I think if I were him, I might have sacked Chomper. I believe he wanted to keep it around just because it was his best mon to deal with Zapdos. But now we get to game 2, and this game somehow is worse than the previous. Because I go into this, I guess that I just felt really bad for D2. And I went into this game going, you know what? I'm sorry, friend. I'll give you a win here. That's the only explanation that I've got. Because there's really no reason for me to make any of the plays that I did this game. Anyhow, we've got the same team loaded up because I felt good first game, let's bring it again. Really wish that I had changed my Kyurem from Dragon Dance to Freeze Dry this game, because it actually just, like, nearly 6-0s from preview. But my opponent's got nice Heatran, nice Zeraora, nice Blissey, Zapdos, Argonaut, Rhyperior. It's some weird, it's like semi-stall, more or less. As I didn't really expect a whole lot other than to get very bored of playing this game very quickly. We're gonna lead Crucible. I felt that it was like super low drawback as a lead. And we're gonna immediately get a trick versus the Tran. Obviously that's huge in terms of helping out my Kyurem potentially. And we're gonna go Finny versus this because he can't do anything about it. And obviously I got a double. So I go right back into Crucible, and I'm a U-turn immediately again. Psych, I'm setting Stealth Rock. I haven't watched these games in a few weeks, I'm sorry. We're gonna Rocks up and never gonna U-turn. We do have a very free Rillaboom. And unfortunately here, he does actually go Heatran, which is a really smart play. Because he either catches a grass move and doesn't care, or, you know, the Scarf gets knocked. Now obviously we're gonna see me make an incredibly unnecessarily aggro play. I'm gonna knock this, and I almost get punished for it. But I dodge Magma. As I said, really trying to help my friend out. Now, obviously, I can just knock again. Getting rid of this thing's lefties is generally a good thing, I would say. Because I can potentially wear it down over time. And I'm going to go Zapdos on the Circle Throw, and Finny's going to come out. And, you know, I can Calm Mind. What's the Argonaut going to do to me, huh? The answer is it would just Circle Throw me out because it's got Unaware. But for some reason, I still Calm Mind. I don't know why. And then he goes into Blissey. And I'm going to Draining Kiss that because, you know, okay, I get a lot of health back. And, you know, I'm going to Calm Mind again because what's a Blissey to a Tapu Fini under Misty Terrain? Nothing. And then I'm going to go for a Draining Kiss for Zeraora because I'm like, okay, Plasma Fist does like 70 max. Could take that. And we're going to actually fail to KO a Heatran. Epic. And then I'm actually slower than the Heatran, so he gets set rocks for a KO. So that also very epic. But I think the truly defining turn of this game is going to be this one. Or not this one, this next turn. So I Draining Kiss. Still pretty bad. Then I Draining Kiss again. And I get Toxic. Now, in my defense, Argonauts usually got Recover, Spikes, Circle Throw, Knock Off. So if anything, I was expecting a knock. And you're kind of going to just see the game go to shit for me from here. Now I'm staying with Libra. In spite of knowing that this was Choice Banded Rhyperior, I just stay in with it anyway. I say he's CB in chat. I knew he was CB. Stayed anyway. You're gonna see me make an epic read here, though, because I'm gonna Woodhammer to Zapdos as he roosts. You're also gonna see that apparently he tried to cancel the roost, but, you know. I make my plays very quickly at times, and that's not always the best for my opponent. Yeah, I guess we're talking about, yeah, whatever happened in that first game there. I'm gonna go over to Zeraora here, though. Zeraora is a massive pain for this team. Well, not really, because Zapdos checks it, but it's still a pain. Especially if I ever lose my boots because of the rocks being up, because then, like, Plasma's really starting to pressure me from that point. And yeah, we're gonna Roost. Hope I just dodge a Stone Edge. I do end up dodging a Stone Edge. And then I'm gonna go Finny, because, well, I'm just sacking this Mon. And yeah, I also think it's funny. He says in chat that he lost to Invalid Cancel. I'm just like, I don't think so. Because I think at this point, I kind of just lost because of all the hazards. I can't break his team. Actually, I think what I needed to do is just play more aggro, because I got a Rillaboom here at 32%. I think what I just needed to do was double into the Boomer as the Argonaut came out. Yeah. There's King's Rock Kiramir. But I think what I need to do is go Rillaboom and throw out like a Grassy Glide, because I think it would have probably given me a KO. At the very least, it would have taken Argonaut a lot lower, and then maybe opened up something for my team. I'm unsure, but I think there was still a chance of me winning this game. Or I think that was probably the better play, at least, if I wanted to try to win this game. And I am at this point just going to change the speed of the replay to fast, because nothing of value happens the rest of this game. I get Toxic as I switch in. You know, it didn't really matter, because I was going to be I was forced to Woodhammer here no matter what. And so, you know, I would have not gained much of anything from staying in for a few turns anyhow. We're going to have to obviously sack something before we get anything in for Zeraora. Now, I will say this. I don't know if Hurricane could have KO'd from that range, but if I hit both those Hurricanes, I think I had a shot at winning still, which is very funny. But, again, that game, I guess I was just feeling real charitable. And we're going to get to this one. And, this game. So, I go to this game, I look at my opponent's team, and one turn just comes to mind. And it's what I knew I needed to win this game. Not off rip, you know, like not in just that instant. But if I knock the Tomahawk with Rillaboom, I know Tomahawk is going to be Rocky Helmet with Prankster Haze. Whenever Tomahawk is on sand, and I'm sorry, I've moved my headset so much during this live, or not live, but whatever. I know that he's going to be that set, and they're always out on sand. If I do that, then I know one of Commodore or Hawlucha, or some combination of the two, can go in and win. Because once once Tomahawk gets its helmet knocked, no longer can it spam Prankster Roost and stall these Mons out. Generally, it's bulky enough to where it can just KO them over time, because these Mons aren't strong without boosts, and so they'll just feint the helmet chip. So you get rid of the helmet, and that's not a problem anymore. But other than that, I mean, I didn't really have too many thoughts other than lead Lando, get my rocks up, and hope they stay up. Which they will this game, which is good. So he leads Bow. I know he's going to be Scarf. I know I'm going to take 12 million. I don't really care. I don't need Lando for anything this game. I think preserving it probably still would have been smart, because he does have that Dracozolt, and just having another Mon to make him think about whether or not he should go like Bolt Beak wouldn't be bad. Plus Intimidate's just great. But now we're going to Volt, because I know the Tar is coming out. We're going to get our Rillaboom in here. And what's very nice about Rillaboom now is I'm going to Swords Dance up, I believe. Right? Yeah. And I am going to claim this Slowking here. I honestly, the only reason that I think he sacked Slowking here, instead of just, again, going hard into Tomahawk, is he doesn't know if I'm itemless or not. There is a world in which I am Acrobatics Rillaboom, because he didn't see an item. A lot of times these are just Grassy Seed. And so, I think he was just trying to be extra cautious, which is fair. But here he's going to go Tomahawk, and again, I'm like, oh, WinCon spotted. I'm gonna knock this. And from here, I think to myself, for the rest of the game, I have won. It's not a matter of whether or not... It's, like, at this point for me, it wasn't a matter of do I win or how do I win. It's a matter of when I win. Because again, what does he do to stop me? From belly jumping with Commodore or swords dancing with Lucha and then winning? The closest thing to an answer that he has is the Dracozolt. But you'll see why it's not an answer. And yeah, we drum up versus the Gastrodon. I'm just trying to essentially force some more damage onto his team, for some more KOs. He's going to be forced into going Jimbao here, and that gives me Aqua Jet damage. And with Stealth Rock also accruing, that's, you know, generally good. Potentially opens something for the Rillaboom. Definitely makes Regieleki a little more annoying. And yeah, we're going to go in. I'm going to Reflect because I know the Tara's coming out here. So, you know, may as well. And if we can just Volt Switch again. Actually, no, I think I Light Screen because I'm very, like, safe to. Yeah, we Light Screen in. And he's actually going to make a really bad play here. He accidentally calced Light Screen being on his side, which cost him his Jimbao. Regardless, I don't think he had a great play there to make. Because you either go Tar and you cede more momentum. Like, if he goes Tar, then I think what happens is I just go Commodore and Belly Drum. And then, again, I'm forcing that response from Tomahawk a lot earlier. Or I go Lucha. Actually, I don't go Lucha. We always would have gone Commodore there. So I think, in a way, it might be better that he sacked Bao. Anyhow, I'm going to Drum versus this, because I know I can take the Fire Blast well enough. Light Screen is, you know, OP. And I do this because I'm just looking for chip. I know that I need to get this to be at about 60% to be able to guarantee a KO with my Hawlucha versus it. And so, for the rest of this game, you're going to see me trying my best to get it to where I have Hawlucha out just so I can activate its Grassy Seed and win. Because at this point, I've won. And you'll actually see me do some nice little friendly banter in the chat where I'm like, GG, hope you can make the Losers Bracket run so we can face in finals. But I mean, that's really all it is. I think what I should have done here, a lot more sooner, is just gone Regieleki and then Volt Switched. Because that would have made sure that he couldn't, like, you know, maybe spam Roost until I faint and then just, you know, like, uh-oh, where'd my turn go? Ha ha ha. Yeah, you'll see here how much Acrobatics does. If he had a helmet, there's every chance in the world that he could stall me out. But he doesn't. And not gonna lie though, the Acro is doing more than I feel like it normally does. So, I don't know, maybe I'm thinking of just the Commodore matchup. Yeah, and you'll see that I can KO that. And I think the first two games of the series, absolutely irredeemably awful. I think this game 3 was probably the best of it. Even if he brought a team that he made in like 10 minutes. And I brought dual screens hyper offense with double bird, double belly drum. Anyhow, this game got me guaranteed to finish at least in the top 6, I believe. Yeah, because right now we're in round 9 and this is the top 6. So if, regardless of what happened to this game, I was guaranteed to get a 5th or 6th place finish. And now we're going to go into our round 8 series. That was round 6, this is now round 8. And I'm up against the Number Man. And in terms of thoughts I had before the series as a whole, I knew that he would share teams with another player. I'd seen them use a similar team. Actually, no, I think I just seen him use the same team as another user. And so I kind of had to keep in the back of my mind that there would be the potential for teams of, like, you know, this other guy and what he likes to bring. It's the guy actually who I have to face next round, Atha. I knew that they had shared a team, and I know they're friends, and I'm like, maybe I could run to an Atha team. So throughout that whole week, I was kind of also preparing for Atha, in spite of me going, it's like, wait, I don't play Atha this week. There's still just kind of that voice in the back of my head, it's like, but you kind of do. I don't know. But I also knew Number Man liked Rain. I'd seen him bring it a little bit. So I'm just trying to think, okay, what can I match up well into Rain with? And I'm like, what if I brought an Argonaut and my own weather? And a Focus Sash Alakazam, because baby, oh, we got some nice side terrain. I really like this team. It's got a huge issue with it. That's the fact that my Fairy Resist is an Excadrill. But but I didn't care. And looking at team preview, would you like to tell me how he beats Alakazam? If I ever nasty plot? If this Lando ever cannot revenge kill my Zam for whatever reason, because it's fainted, because Zapdos static, or like maybe Argonaut somehow knocks it, he has lost, and there's nothing he can do about it. With Psychic Terrain, plus 2 Alakazam, Oko's his whole team. So let's get into it. He's going to lead Lando, I'm going to lead Lele. Now, I considered, on this first turn, just going for a Psychic. But I assumed he would be Scarf Lando here, so I make the safe play. And now here, I guess there was a voice in the back of my head that said to go Lele on this trick. But I do this, and I think this play definitely made this game a whole lot easier, because we have now forced this Clefable to not have much say in the rest of the game. The problem for it, I would say, for the rest of the game is this. You don't necessarily hate the fact that Lele's lost its specs, but you also don't love it, because without specs, my Lele can't Oko as many things as it normally would be able to. But that means his Clef has the specs. But if you give me my specs back, or also, my bad, I also don't have to worry about locking into a move, so you can see this. I Psychic the Volcarona as it comes in, but now I can just Psyshock it and do like 81. So I don't know, there's some give and take. And now I'm a Hurricane a Hydreigon as it comes in, ended up making a pretty pointless play in Hurricane again. It's not that this is a bad play or anything, it's just I'm risking missing and giving up momentum, so I'll Volt Switch here. Just to stop myself from, you know, pretty much baiting myself. And we're gonna go Argonaut. Because I see Lefty's Hydreigon, I assume he's Defog. And so Argonaut can pretty freely just come in, and I go for a Spike because, like, well, why not? And I actually think it was kind of dumb of me to assume Defog Dragon. Or I guess it wasn't dumb. But, you know, he's got Scarf Lando a lot of the time those are in Defog. He could have been Superpower as well. And we finally get Alakazam out, so what did we say earlier about Zam's potential to run through his team? Yep. Also, I mean, it makes sense for him to sack the Pex there, because it really does nothing versus my team. But, yeah, what's his response to Zam there? He doesn't have a good one, and so obviously he's gonna tell me, in case I had forgotten, that he is Scarf Lando. And, yep, right here I win the game. And it's just that simple. And we're gonna see here that he has Nasty Plot Hydreigon, which, again, you know, I don't think Hydreigon should be running lefties personally if you're plot. I think Life Orb is just a lot better because big damage. But to each their own. I'm gonna paralyze this too. I didn't really need to. I should have. I could have just superpowered it, but it's whatever. I throw my rocks up, and these are important because if I don't have Stealth Rock up, then Skarmory can actually tank a singular hit from Zam. And we're gonna go into here and we're gonna Gleam, and I think, wait, Zam actually 6-0s him this game. That's crazy. Yeah, spoiler alert. Don't worry about it. I go Argonaut here because I got Unaware. I know even if he's Psychic, it doesn't really matter because I'm gonna take it. Unfortunately, however, he gets a Spadef drop and a Mist Circle throw. So that was a little bit scary. I have to switch because, you know, I've got Unaware. That does not ignore my own stat drops, just his boost. So Psychic would have KO'd me. He knows I have to switch, so he goes for a free roost. I sack Drill because it's never winning this game. And in round 2, can I hit it this time? And I do. And he burns me, that matters none. He goes Clef. I can always freely sack, but I guess I choose not to because I just want to set terrain here. Pretty much what I'm just doing here is speeding up the process of getting Zam back out, because I am going to Nasty Plot now, and I am going to win. Because I've got just enough turns to where I can't lose. You know, no matter what Mon he leaves last, he has no ability to actually do anything about this Zam. Yeah. I was really happy to get a Zam sweep. Straight up body bagged him with an Alakazam in Gen 8. Felt really good. I don't know, I've been wanting these Alakazam for like actually just several generations in a row now. Because it's one of my favorite Pokemon. And it's been bad in OU for so long, and I've just never, I think it's always been banned from UU. Except this gen. It's allowed there right now. But I was happy to be able to get it to work. And we move on to the next game. Let me switch sides again, turn music off. And we got a team that definitely fell in line with what I had expected. Fast electric type pivot, just some like Libra balance kind of stuff with spikes. I don't know why, but I feel like this is kind of like the trademark Cap team. that probably makes more sense to people that play Cap. But look at my team. I have a Calm Mind, Trick, Sticky Barb, Clefable. This team is based around just weakening steel types, really. We got that. We got Choice Mix Kyurem because his Bond's a demon, and nobody uses Scizor in Cap for some reason, so I'm gonna make sure to take advantage of that. I got T-Wave, Hex, Dragapult, Spadef, Scizor, Fizdef, Helmet, Lando with my rocks, and then I got a Defog, Rotom Wash because, unfortunately, this team needed a Rotom Wash. Well, look at preview. Kyurem goes in. His response of Glow King isn't bad, right? It can take hits. It does not want to take them, though. Because, here's the thing. Ice Beam does like around 35. If it ever has to switch in to an Ice Beam, I am 2-hit KOing you from there on out. Especially if rocks are up, it makes it super easy to do. And so, you know, you've got this and sort of Astro as your switch-ins. Not the best countermeasures. And so, let's see what Kyurem does to this man. So I lead Lando versus the Libra. I know he's going to Doom Desire here, so this is a very free knockoff for me. This is super helpful, just making sure the Libra is easier to break later on. And then, yeah, I'm not setting rocks ever versus that, so I go Rotom Wash. And this is a free turn to use Hydro Pump. Or actually, no, I Volt, because I know he's switching. Unnecessary Volt switch. But I guess Scizor here. Just need a Doom Desire, and then I'm gonna double right back out into my Lando. He's gonna Wisp me, unfortunately, which does make my Lando kind of useless for the rest of the game. As anything more than just, you know, a rocker that makes Zeraora's life a little harder. Yeah, actually, Lando ends up being pretty useful the rest of the game. We force a little chip here, though, and we're gonna just U-turn on out. And it is Dragapult time. Because, you know, what's his Pult check? It's the Libra, so we're gonna U-turn versus that. And we're gonna bring in Rotom Wash. And unfortunately here we do miss the Hydro Pump. But fortunately for me, I know that he is forced into future sighting here, so I'm gonna go into my nice Scizor. And obviously I get to threaten a knockoff here. He's not gonna stay in. And look at what we get a knock on, the Lottle. This is huge because it means, oh wait, we don't knock it yet, we U-turn here. Yeah, so for some reason I let him also just get a huge amount of chip. I do knock the Lottle later though, and it is huge because it means the boots don't get to just give him the full regenerator with rocks up. We're gonna Drake into Libra and then U-turn. I'm just kind of hoping that he's not Pain Split here. I just assumed he wouldn't be because on his team, his Equilibra check is his own Libra. So he'd probably Aura Sphere last. So I felt this was pretty safe. And he does go for a Doom Desire. We get our free KO. And I'm going to go into Rotom Wash here as the Doom Desire hits. I don't really need this to do anything this game other than just kind of exist and be a nuisance. Yeah, he's going to set up a Spike. I'm a Volt. And we get to get our Dragapult in again. And he has no Draco resist of any kind now. So it's always free to click. Obviously, Glow King's going to still take it really well because it's AV. But, you know. And he's going to go Hawk here because he wants Helmet Chip. However, this is a bad play because you have given me my Kyurem. Psych, I go Clef because I wanted to call Mind Sweep. I'm so sorry. I'm greedy. And then I go for a second because I know the calcs for Sludge Bomb are not in his favor. Now here, I do kind of wonder if maybe Moonblast was the play. Because if I'm remembering correctly, it's got a pretty okay shot at KOing Rillaboom at +2. Although that may be with Life Orb. Regardless, I could have done that. I know he does the Wood Hammer here because I calced it, and yeah, Wood Hammer does like 90 to 106 or something to Clef. Or maybe it's always an Oko. It was something ridiculous. Anyhow, my opponent doesn't go for the damage roll. And I make, honestly, in my opinion, not the best play here. Because now I don't really check the Rillaboom too well with Scizor. Fortunately for me, it still winds up in a knockoff of the Lottle. And I'm an absolute just Giga Brain. And I roost knowing that he's going to switch out. It felt real good. And now we get a nice little knockoff again. Oh no, we U here. Okay, cool. And it's because we cure him again, because you're not Draco Meteor. You're just not. He's either Encore or Heal Bell last. I just knew. And he's gonna give me Tomahawk here, because what does this Mon do for him? Nothing at all. So this game go real well for me. Kira putting in that good work. And now, obviously, he's at 88. I don't want to go for Ice Beam switches yet. I want to make sure that he has to switch into one before I go for the Ice Beam. And we're going to just knock the Lottle after the Slowking Future Sights. And now here, we sack the Rotom Wash. Because at this point, I just need something to sack the Future Sight plus Fire Lash. And Rotom Wash isn't really checking anything at all on his team. Since I got rid of the Libra. And it's gonna be Kyurem again. And here's where you see the whole, Ice Beam followed up by a 2-hit KO. Because, what's he gonna do now? I do 33 there, 34 there. Rock's guaranteeing the overall 3-hit KO is super good for me. And Glow King just makes sure that Dragapult can now Draco Meteor whenever I want. And I'm gonna sack the Kyurem here. And I don't know yet what his Zeraora is. Now, when I saw lefties, I probably should have just assumed that he'd be bulk up. But for some reason I don't assume that, so he bulks versus me. But it's like, doesn't really do anything for him because I go Clef. And yeah, you can bulk up again, but I'm gonna trick you the Sticky Barb. Have fun with that. And this makes the Zeraora super easy to deal with because it's no longer able to just passively generate health. Unfortunately, I forgot how Sticky Barb worked here. And so he knocks off my item, and then I U-turn with my Lando. And what that actually does is it means that my Lando has the Sticky Barb now. But it doesn't really matter. I go into Clef. I know the Rillaboom's going to come out because he cannot afford to let me see him. So I'm going to Moonblast, just get a little bit of chip. Here you're going to see a pretty bad play from my opponent. I go Scizor here. I probably should have sacked Lando, but he Grassy Glides instead of Wood Hammering. I think you always have to Wood Hammer there because you do force a little more chip. Actually, no. Grassy Glide's fine enough, but I don't think I would have gone for it. I feel like if anything, you got a U or knock. I believe the logic from him there is if I Wood Hammer, yes, I do lots of damage to Scizor, but I might be in Bullet Punch range. At the same time, I feel like if you know Scizor's coming in, Grassy Glide is not ever the button you use to predict Scizor, Anyhow. We're in a good spot. I get the roost off of Scizor, now back to full, so I have, again, we're a sentient Rillaboom check. And here I decide I no longer need the Lando. Pretty much I'm just looking at this point to punish him with Dragapult at any turn. And we also pass the Sticky Barb off to the Lottle, which means that it has even less longevity after losing its boots and being forced to take rocks damage. It's not got a Barb. And he's going to sack the Rillaboom here. Because with Scizor alive, it doesn't really do anything. And it is going to go Astrolotl, and we're going to see why I hate using Dragapult, because in spite of its speed, this mon does not do damage. What is this? I do 52? It barely is OHKOing this thing if I'm not even without the special attack drops? Like, what? Unfortunately for me, I just have to go Clef here. It doesn't matter what his Zeraora does at this point. We just Moonblast it, and we KO it. And with this round win, I have actually secured myself a top 3 finish in Winter Cup Seasonal, which I think is pretty baller. Now, obviously, I'd like to win the whole thing. That is the goal. But a top 3 finish guaranteed is also pretty cool, so I'll take it. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I had actually recorded a video where it was just the previous series versus D2, but I never uploaded it. Because that series, again, it's just not the best. But I still wanted to go over it because at least Game 3 was pretty good. And, I can still say some funny stuff about Games 1 and 2. But I like this series a lot more. I felt that I played a lot better. And it was just also a lot cleaner of a series. Pokemon truly is the game of giveth and taketh. That's it from me. I'll see you guys next time. I'll probably make a video about the Cresselia in U Suspect test eventually. We'll see how I feel. Take care, y'all.